In other Man United news, it looks like there's real movement now, potentially with Jadon Sancho leaving and going to Juve. What's your personal thoughts on that?
Oh, me or Lawless?
I'll go to you first, as you're a big Sancho fan.
What, that he's going to Juventus?
Mm.
Yeah, I hope it works out. I want us to sell him already. I'm tired of the Sancho news every week.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the manager rates him. The manager came out like 19 days ago saying he's thinking of starting him in the season as a striker, and then the first day the season starts and he benches him twice. Actually, benches him once in the Community Shield and then sits him in the stands the game after. I don't want to deal with this no more. Just sell him, get some money, and that's it. Let him move on. Let him rejuvenate his career and make some money off him. We'll take that money and reinvest it in something else. It's just like you can tell. At the end of the day, I remember when they came out and they were like, "Oh, we drew lines," whatever that meant. Oh, we drew lines instead of saying we apologize to each other or whatever the hell they did when they met each other.
We drew a line under it. It's a very English expression for we've. I was about to say. Oh,
is that what you guys say?
Yeah. When
he's not English, so I didn't know what he meant. Like,
yeah, but
what do you mean you drew a line?
Yeah, but it's an English expression. I'm not sure if it translates to America, but when you draw a line on, say, me and you have an argument and we resolve it, you would say we've drawn a line. It's like drawing a line in the sand and it's done now.
Burying the hatchet.
Burying the hatchet, same thing.
Okay, that would have made more sense. Yeah. I just kept hearing drawing a line, and I just pictured a Sharpie and him just drawing a line.
No, they didn't. You don't literally. It's metaphorical, bruv. I was about to give you another very East London expression as they wipe their mouths and moved on. That also means burying the hatchet. Yeah, you wipe your mouth and move on.
Yeah, that's crazy. But anyways, yeah, it is time to move on now that you said that, and it's time to move him on. I don't think there's a world where Sancho's gonna work out United anyways. Even when they said that everything is good now, I just didn't see how he's gonna fit him into the lineup this season and it's gonna work. I wanted it to, but I just didn't really see. It was more of hopium than realism. I'm not gonna lie. So just move him on. Just let him do his thing. Get some money, and let's reinvest that money into the midfield. Into the team, because we're still lacking a lot of positions in this team, anyways. So if we can move him on instead of wasting another season, that would be great. Even if it's on a loan with an obligation, I'll take that. I'll just take anything right now rather than just having it on the bench again or just have him in the stands again. We wasted too much time, So let's just get rid.
Listen, I understand. I do understand that. I'm sad it hasn't worked out, but the talk is of a loan with an obligation to buy it, sort of 30-odd million. It's a loss for us on him as a player. But at least it draws a line under this, more lines. It draws a line under this scenario, and we can move on. He can move on, go to pastures new, and as we say, move on from this situation. He isn't going to play, and I think the club did a sensible thing by. I prefer this approach, and Chelsea fans are going to think I'm digging at them, but I'm keeping my energy the same. I didn't like what we did last time. I didn't like that the manager went public. I didn't like that Sancho went public. I didn't like that we made him eat his lunch out of his fucking car. It was a disgrace. This time round, nope, everyone's good. He's got a chance to play. He was never going to it. In my truest heart of hearts, I never felt he was genuinely going to get an opportunity to play again. I always knew this would kind of happen. But yeah, we get to move on from it. We get some money that's coming in because it's an obligation to buy. You can start to spend that. And my hope is once Ugarte is done, we can take some of this Sancho money because we know it's going to come in and we can reinvest it. Maybe we get that additional midfield player that you mentioned, Staffy, someone that is better on the ball. I don't know who that player is right now because all the players we were linked to earlier.
It's pretty late, yeah.
It's pretty late, but even again, it may not even be someone who is going to be a superstar for us, but someone that can just come in and raise that technical floor in the sort of short term, like a better, younger, more mobile version of Christian Eriksen as an example. Find someone of that, I'd love that. Or we go out and actually take the Jadon Sancho money and buy Ivan Toney. I know we've already got two strikers, but whatever it may be, going out there and doing something because Sancho's barely going to feature, and I'd prefer us take that money and buy someone who the manager and the club and the system that we're trying to build warrants, and then everybody can kind of move on to pastures new. That's my personal hope. After that is a fouled signing. I don't necessarily blame Sancho. I think that he came into a exceedingly toxic environment. The manager who wanted him was sacked within a few months of him being here. And we then went on to another manager who got the chance to build a system in his eyes. and he wasn't part of it. Now we've got a club system that's being built after all the arguments. It is just a mess, you know. I think it's time for everybody to, and I'm going to use the expression, to wipe their mouths and move on. And fingers crossed. And one thing I will say about Sancho is I really do hope that, you know, that he has the best career possible. And if he does go to Italy, I hope he smashes it. I really do.
I find it, as someone like before Man United, I was a fan of Sancho. I think it was just like I said, I think the move is the best for both parties, but I'm a bit disappointed that it's Juventus. Do you know what I mean? Like, of all clubs. Juventus are traditionally a big club, but yeah, I don't know, that I just don't think they're at the level they once were. And I don't know, like the Italian league, I'm not the biggest fan of, and they haven't really in the Champions League. I know they're trying to fix that, but they haven't been the most successful in the Champions League recently. I would have loved to seen him either go to like Bayern or back to Dortmund, or maybe to Spain, maybe, you know, one of the clubs over there, one of the top clubs in Spain, something like that. Or I know you wouldn't like to have seen this, but maybe try another Premier League club and see if you can get something to click there. Like, I just don't know if this is the most exciting move, really, Juventus, but we'll see.
The Italian league fits him, though. If we're just talking solely about him and what benefits him, I think the Italian league is probably the best league for him, or the Spanish league. But the Italian league, because it's much slower. And let's be honest, I always had a concern about how he plays in the Premier League, because there's a lot more physicality that's involved in the Premier. That's why there's a lot of players that not necessarily technical, they're not the most neat, but then they end up having decent careers in the Premier League. You know, Scott McTominay being one of them. Like, you probably can't lace Sancho's boots when it comes to technical ability, but the fact that he can go and score 10 goals a season just shows you how this league is set up. If it goes to the Italian league, listen, I know that the league has dropped off to what it used to be in the 2000s and in the 90s. You know, Juventus are not as big as they were about 5, 6, 7 years ago. You know, but it's a much slower league, and you know, he'll still be playing for one of the better sides in Italy. So I don't think it's necessarily that bad.
Is this true? Is this true, Staffy? What Don's saying, that you really thought Sancho was back? Is that true?
I mean, when they made up him and Ten Hag, of course I was happy for it. What should I be upset, Don, that one of my favorite players and the manager of my club have made up? Next time I'll be upset.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if Cole Palmer ever has an issue with Maresca and they make up, I better not see you be happy. I better not see you being happy that Maresca has a good relationship with one of your players.
No, but they're on scorched earth at the minute, these guys. I think that it's funny, really, because
they wear name tags over there. So
I'm not saying Don or Ches specifically, but the amount of Chelsea fans that I remember in my comment section saying that managers and players falling out and talking about it publicly and players training separately is just a road to ruin last season. Now they're like, that's a ruthlessness that gets you back to the top. I do love, depending on who the club is and who the player is, how people's views on that change. And by the way, Don, what can Ches do? Do you hold the phone and he types, or does he hold the phone and you type? Which way around do you do it, my brother? Which way around do you do it?